We had a really good conversation going on last week where a young man was just troubled about his parents keep yelling at him. So we want to talk about that again today. Last week we was in Phoenix and we was having a lot of problems there, but we're back, and I want y'all to start commenting and let us know what you're thinking about the subject. But the subject again was my parents keep hollering at me and I'm tired of it. I feel not loved. What can we do about it? What can I do about it? I'm sorry. So you all talk back to us, but that's what our subject is today. And I want to say this, I think that when a parent is hollering at their children or something, many times it could be something wrong with them, something wrong with the parents. So you all let us know what you think, and be commenting so we can see your comments. All right. So First Lady, what do you have?
Well, I have Ephesians 6:4. If someone wants to type that in, Ephesians 6:4, it says, "Do not provoke your children to wrath. Don't provoke your children to anger. Instead, bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." So to provoke means to incite anger or resentment. And us parents, when we yell at our kids, this is exactly what we do. And yelling, y'all, we know it can be used as a weapon. Some parents use yelling as a weapon. And it can be dangerous, y'all, because verbal abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. And yelling, we use it as a tool, and it lets parents also release steam, and sometimes it gets the kids to listen. But there's a difference between dangerous yelling and normal human being getting upset yelling. And the difference is the matter of content, that substance, and your intention. Like when you yelling at your kid, if they running into the street, what you tell them? What do you
Stop!
do?
Get your tail back up in here, if I whoop you.
Why you gotta say tail and whoop?
Because that's what I will be saying. This is a real bro. That's what. Come on, y'all. That's what you will be saying. Get your tail. Some of y'all even be cussing. I'm not gonna cuss, but get your behind, get your whatever it is back up here, and that's a different kind of yelling. Then I don't think that kind of yelling is lowering their self-esteem. I don't think that kind of yelling is making them feel like you don't love them. I think that kind of yelling is saving them from getting hit by a car.
So you're not criticizing them
No.
or belittling them
No.
when you yell,
No.
get out the street.
Nope.
So yelling in that content or context is okay.
Yeah.
And then your intention is to help them and not harm them.
Yes.
So we're looking at the content and the substance of why you saying it.
Well, why I'm saying it because what I was saying, I'm yelling at them.
You yelling them, get your tail out the street.
Yeah, get out. Well, because a car could be coming, or even if a car is not coming, I remember taking my kids out to the edge of the driveway and letting them know, don't you go past right here. And I wasn't yelling at them, but I was stern with them, and so I think they got that picture because so far none of them got hit by a car by running out in the street.
So would y'all agree that type of yelling would be constructive? That would be okay if you're yelling for your kid to get out of the street? Y'all let me know if that would be constructive, if that would be okay, that type of yelling.
So
I can't hear nobody.
y'all got to talk back to it. Talk back to us.
Tone and intent, right.
Tone, y'all got to talk back to us.
Your
Talk back to us.
tone, the content and the substance in what you're saying it, your intention, or why you're saying it. But some of us, when we're yelling at our kids, we yell at them to belittle them and criticize them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times parents do it because they're mad at somebody else, they're mad at something else, or they're even mad at themselves. So why is it that we yell at our children when really the anger is rooted from somebody else, from something else, or from even ourselves? Y'all help me out.
And you know, the child said, he said that it makes them feel not loved. It makes them feel not loved. And you know, we can really destroy a kid, even when they get older. They be nervous. I said last week, I remember me walking next to my father sometime, and he would yell at us, and he had that old stern voice, but I would think he's gonna hit me, so I'll be really watching to make sure I don't get popped or something.
Why would you think he was gonna hit you?
Because it's the West.
It happened before, huh?
Yeah, it happened before. Yeah, it happened before. So I just think that when you're yelling at your kids, you got to figure out, okay, now, why are you yelling? What are you yelling at your kids for? You know.
I like that. Who is that on Periscope?
Mm-hmm.
They said you can yell and not belittle them. Be constructive, not critical, if you can. And when we, as parents, when we're yelling, we have to remember those are our children. And we carry them.
Yeah.
We carry them. So how can we just be so dogmatic in our yelling, and our tone and intent is meant to criticize, to hurt their feelings, to belittle them? Y'all help me. Why do we do this? What are some reasons we talk to our children like that when we're yelling? Could it be that we're showing out in front of somebody?
Yeah. I do. I've seen people try to set an example, showing out in front of people, you know, letting their friends know that they can holler at their kids, and, you know, just really downright being honoring in front of their friends, or in front of their boyfriend, in front of their girlfriend, or whatever. They really hollering at their kids and making their kids feel like they love their boyfriend or their girlfriend more than they love their own children, hollering at them and screaming at them, making them nervous. And that stuff shows up at school. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes kids, the teacher would wonder, is this child disturbed, or something is wrong with this kid because he's always nervous? And then when the teachers are hollering at him at school, or if somebody's hollering at them, they don't even budge. They don't even bother them at all, because they're used to getting yelled at, you know.
This part of the session is for the parents. We're trying to help the parents to understand why we do what we do, mm-hmm. and to help us do better. So when we, what are some things that are said to children when parents yell at them? I'll just say name calling.
Yeah.
Parents call children names. They belittle their kids. What about cuss at them?
What do you mean when you say belittle their name? What are you saying?
When you're talking down to them, you belittle.
Yeah. Telling
them you stupid.
Yeah.
You just rotten. You just
Larry Williams said you just like your daddy.
Oh yeah,
you just like your daddy. You know. And I wonder, well, I guess I wonder what my daddy was like. You know what I mean?
For that to be a negative connotation, you just like your daddy. Your daddy must have been something else.
And you know, my wife was saying earlier that some people grow up in a hollering environment. Some people,
culture.
They have a culture of
culture.
Yeah, you can explain that one.
Well, the culture that you're raised in, like African Americans, I'm just gonna say it. A lot of us in our homes, our parents yell.
Yeah.
That's the way they got their point across. They yelled. That was the norm. Not that it was right, not that it was wrong, but that's how they got their point across. And so the way we were reared is the same way we raised our children, unless we learned better before, having children. But most of us, we had our kids and we raised them the way we were raised. So I just look at it as generation.
You think it's generational curse? Generational curse?
I know it's generations repeating what was done in our own homes. Mm-hmm. And so when we know better, y'all, we do better. Every action doesn't prompt yelling. We have to really, as parents, take a breath. Why are we so angry? Get to the root of the anger and stop taking it out on our kids. Stop belittling our kids. Stop insulting our kids. And then some people even reject their own kids, talking about, I wish I'd have never had you.
Never had you. But they say it loud at them and stuff.
Oh, yelling it.
I wish I'd never had you. Get your behind and da-da-da-da. And you take care of your, and take care of your sister or take care of your brother and make them feel like make you feel like that they care about the other sibling more than you, because you're the one that is always getting hollered at. So parents, we really need, if you're a parent on here and you're listening, you got to be real careful about hollering at your kids all the time. All you do is just holler, holler, holler. Sometimes when you holler, like she said, maybe it's something wrong with you. What is going on with you that make you scream, yell, holler, and cuss out your own kids and lower their self-esteem? Because what is going on with you, you're going to end up rubbing off on them. You know.
Behaviors, repeat behaviors.
Nervous condition.
And then sometimes, like we said last week, some parents, they just bully their kids.
Yeah.
They say things to their own children that they wouldn't say to somebody else. And they treat their kids like some, what do we call them? Off the street.
Yeah. Thug.
Yeah, like a thug or something off the street.
You're just somebody,
You know, just all in your kid's face. And it's like, why?
I seen a lady one time hollering at her kids in a mall and hollering at them and slapping and dragging and pulling on them and saying just saying all kind of old crazy stuff to the little child, popping him, beating him. I wanted to get her myself, but thank God I'm better than that. But I was really bothered that. I was wondering about the cow. The child was looking just, like kind of cold to it now. It's kind of cold. After a while, you beat on them so much and you holler at them so much, they just become numb.
Big C's.
They become numb. You think they become numb?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they become numb or they become fearful and paralyzed in fear, from all the yelling. But, some kids, just like if we were brother and sister, we have different temperaments. And a parent yelling at him, he just look at it like, they just being loud. And then me, I would take it to heart and take it personal. So every child is different.
Every child is different, yeah. What would you all say? Some of you all on Facebook, we see Big C's. We see a whole lot of you all on different ones coming up on here.
Some parents have a bad day and take it out on their children. That is so true.
Do you think it's fair, parent, for you to have a bad day and you come home slamming the doors, going off on your kids because maybe they left a cup on top of the counter or something to that degree? You just very angry. What is wrong with you? And that is correct. Some people come home, some parents, mothers and fathers. I know work can be tough, dealing with work, dealing with racism, dealing with just drama on the job and all that kind of stuff. You'll come home and you'll be feeling some kind of way, But again, is it fair? Is it fair? Because your child end up not feeling love. That's what the subject is about today. This child feel like their parents holler and scream at him so much that he do not feel love. And then when you don't feel love, next thing you know, you'll get into the gang. You'll join a gang. You just don't feel love, and then your gang members start showing you love. Or you end up just kind of messed up in the head.
Why do you think parents let their irritation show in their voices, and they want the child to know that they're frustrated?
Yeah. Why do you all think that? Why do you think a parent want their child to know that they're frustrated?
They show the irritation in their voice, and they want the kid to know that I'm frustrated. Do you think that is going to motivate the child to do what you're asking them to do? Or how do you think that's going to affect the child? Parent, this is your session right now, and then we're going to get to the kids in just a minute.
Come on, parents. Let us know something. What's the question again?
Why do parents want their frustration, the irritation in their voice to be known by their kids, to let them know they're frustrated with them? I'm talking in terms of yelling, just yelling, just letting them know you frustrated and the way you talking to them. And instead of just trying to talk to them, I understand sometimes an elevated voice, but remember the content and the intent.
Oh, yeah.
In that elevation.
When you saying content and intent, what are you saying?
I said it earlier. Were you not paying attention?
No, I was just saying to say, when you saying it, what are you saying?
Well, I'm going to talk to you about it.
All right. Content.
Did y'all get content and intent? Somebody help us right here. The content, remember we talked about the substance, the content, and what you're saying, the substance. And then we talked about the intention. What do you intend? What's your intention when you're saying or yelling what you're yelling? Okay? Remember we talked about the content when the kid is running out in the street. When you say get out the street, that's okay.
Yeah, but one person on here saying a kid shouldn't even have to be knowing what your frustration is.
You said the key word, the kid. Let a kid be a kid, right?
Yeah, let a kid be a kid. They're supposed to be playing with cars and, playing around. They shouldn't be feeling all this stuff. They're going to grow up feeling it. I mean, you could, they're going to know some frustration because it's kind of warm out here now. If it was a child sitting right here now, they'll probably see us getting the flies.
Getting attacked by flies.
Getting attacked by flies and barbecue smoke and...
The smoke smell good though.
And all, but they still, but sometimes that can be sometimes that can be frustrating for a kid to see that. So as a child, what did the Bible have to say about it? What did the Bible have to say about it?
Parents shouldn't allow the kids to see the frustration. I agree, and I agree with the other comment above it where when all this is happening, parent, you do not have self-control. So that is an area of prayer that you really need to seek God. When you can just go from 0 to 100 on your own child who has not provoked you, whether you are provoking that child, there's something is definitely wrong. And we need to get on our knees and seek God in prayer and ask him to pull up whatever it is. Pull it up out of us from the root, y'all, so that we can love our children. First, love ourselves, because that's really the problem. We don't love ourselves, so we take it out on our children.
Yeah. That's what the Bible says, to be swift to hear, slow to speak. Hear what... Sometimes we're so busy yelling, we don't even allow our children to say anything. We're just hollering and screaming at them. And we need to just stop, chill out, listen to our child, see what they're saying, instead of just yelling at them all the time.
Right.
You make them don't even want to talk to you. You wonder why your kid is always in a corner, always just being in what they call that distant. That's another word that they use. They're in feeling some kind of way. Just don't want to talk to nobody. When the mother come home, the child just over there sitting quiet, nervous, and things of that nature.
When we yell at our kids, like one of the viewers is saying, we damage our children. We damage our children. So to all of our yelling parents, remember, anger and yelling, it always comes from a feeling of powerlessness. You don't feel like you're in control. So you got to get dogmatic so you can be the boss.
But the boss messing up your kids.
God is the boss, y'all.
Yeah.
The Bible is our guide. We're to live by that. Who do we have anything to prove to?
Yeah.
By yelling and belittling and criticizing our kids. That's not good. That is not good.
How do you feel when somebody yelling at you as a parent? How do you feel when when your boss is raising your voice, their voice at you? How do you feel? How do you feel if somebody on the street just start hollering at you? You're trying to get at them, So how do you think a child feels? It's the same kind of a situation, I know you're their parent, but yelling and screaming at somebody. I understand now. I agree with the man using the stern voice. You got to be stern. Some of these kids, for instance, when my kids was younger, I would say, "Didn't I tell you to wash those dishes?" You know what I mean?
So you just changed up your disposition,
your
facial features. Let them know. Because I remember back in the day, our mom and them, they just gave us a look.
Yeah.
They gave you that look, and you already knew.
These kids now look right back at you like ain't nothing.
Oh yeah, they give you the look back, and y'all just be staring each other down until
you know what?
somebody
I'll be saying, there their teeth go. I'm just playing. I'm just playing with y'all. But I can't see my kids hollering back at me. I just won't be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank God we didn't have that.
No, our kids wasn't brought up like that. That's why they're still living.
That's a problem. Kids being brought up in hostile environments.
Yeah.
It's hostile. But we got to see why the anger is there. Why? Yeah. So how do kids feel when we yell at them, y'all? Some people said they feel
not loved.
They feel not loved.
Mm-hmm.
What about it make our kids more aggressive? Have you noticed kids that are reared in a hostile environment, a hostile home? Those kids are more aggressive physically and verbally. When they getting it at home, mm-hmm. they know how to give it out there.
What if there's somebody right here saying, what if a child is yelling at you when you get older? When someone is yelling at you, you just turn and walk away.
They said what?
As a young kid, this is Benita look like. As a young kid's getting yelled at, when you get older, when someone yells at you, you just turn and walk away.
Is that a question or?
Oh, is that a statement? Somebody should make it a statement, but. They yell at me as I'm older. I don't be turning and walking away. I think most people would probably start turning and yelling back at the person. But you can change a whole conversation if somebody is yelling. If you come down low, you come in low, you would defuse the situation. Even on the police force, I know a lot of them are taught to yell. They taught this voice control or whatever. If they get ready to pull you over, they say, "Subject, get out of the car," or whatever. But it's just escalating. They're taught that, I believe, to raise their voice, to yell and stuff, rather than talking. And that's some of the problems that we have now. That's kind of going around. That word yelling.
Well, the popo, that's different. They dealing with criminals. We're talking about
but
kids.
It might not be a criminal. It may just be some older person just in the car and they yelling at them. And you make a person right away, a grown person yelling at another grown person, it make them right away go into the defense mechanism because we don't like to get yelled at. We grown. And you can imagine what a child feel like this young man we're talking about.
Okay. So with the kid being yelled at, I think Benita put they feel like in danger. I don't know. She put something on there. Oh, scared and not loved. They feel scared and not loved. And then when we yell at our kids, y'all, they feel like whatever is going on is their fault. They feel like they're at fault, and then they feel like I'm the bad kid, I'm really afraid to approach my parents because they're so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just ask for something what a kid would consider simple, and then just get yelled at.
You don't know what some children don't even know how to go to their parents and talk to them about something going on in their life because their parents gonna start snapping at them mm-hmm. and gonna start yelling at them. And then when they go talk to somebody else, then the parent asks them, "Why you don't come talk to me?" You know what I mean? Well, they've been trying to talk to you, but you're so busy in your own world, going through whatever victim of circumstances, probably, or like first my wife said, the culture, or a culture of being yelled at. But your child can't even talk to you because you're always yelling. You don't listen. You telling them to shut up. You tell them to do this. Wait until I do this and wait until I do that and all that kind of stuff. Just going completely off, and you shut your children down. This boy is talking about I do not feel love because you keep yelling at them.
So parents, when are we going to stop yelling and start listening to our kids? How do you know when your yelling has gone too far? Some people say, well, some kids, that's all they know is yelling because that's what they used to. Okay, but how do you know when that yelling has gone too far?
Yeah. Well, some of them, sometimes, when yelling has gone too far, sometimes you don't find that out, but you see the results of it when the child gets older. It's sometimes some people don't see like a time. You'll see what happened to them once they get older. You'll see that you're yelling at them as when they was a child coming up. Now that they're older, something is wrong with them. They ain't quite all the way there. They're nervous, have a nervous condition, or now they're yelling at their own kids. They're doing what you did to them. They're doing to their own kids.
I'm laughing at this one. It says, what if one parent yells and the other doesn't, and the yelling parent yells at the parent that's not yelling about the kids? What type of message is that sending?
A mess.
Are we talking about Christians, or are we just talking about people in general?
What's the job of the Christian?
Because husband and wives, we shouldn't be going against one another. If he tell the kids something,
Yeah.
even if I don't agree, I have to sit there and suck it up and then talk to him in private, not argue in front of the kids or retaliate in front of the kids.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because some parents, some husbands and fathers or boyfriends and girlfriends, however you want to look at it, they be arguing and fussing right there in front of their kids, fussing and cussing each other out, just hollering and screaming. And the kids sitting there looking at them like, y'all, what is y'all doing?
Remember, we Christians, y'all, so we setting an example.
Yeah.
So what example are you setting? What signal do you want to send to your kids? How do you want your kids to come up in life and deal with conflict or deal with just life?
Yeah, do you want them to be yelling at everybody? But sometimes, and now this is here it comes, here it go. Sometimes people can have a hearing problem. You know.
I mean, I'm not laughing at somebody that's having a hearing problem, because that's real talk. And
you yell, and they don't really hear you. You think you haven't took them to the doctor to have their ears checked, and so you're yelling at them, not even knowing that they can barely hear what you're saying. That's why we need to talk to our children and stuff, looking them dead in their eyes, you know, and then have them checked out. Maybe something wrong with their ears, and maybe they can't hear. Like I said, they can't hear good. But I think if you look at someone in their eyes, it has a stronger effect than just you hollering and yelling and screaming and showing out in front of the people that's around you and belittling your kids and yelling at one child more than the other child, and which would be considered showing a difference. Favoritism and all that. So this child that we're talking about now, I think he was probably sensing favoritism, because you're always fussing at, hollering at him instead of the other sibling. That's not good. That's not good. You have to really be careful that you don't do that, or you'll mess your child up. You'll mess them up.
So help us, y'all, so we can hurry on to our close. What are some ways that we can stop yelling at our kids? Here go one right here. We need to talk to them and not at them. That makes a big difference.
Now, what is different? What is talking at and talking to? So when you're talking to someone, that means you kind of sit down and you're letting your child talk, and you're communicating with the eyes, and you're talking to them. You're trying to project to them why you're feeling the way you feel. Talking at them is you just completely blotted them out. You're not paying attention on anything about them, and you're so busy in yourself, and you're hollering and screaming at them. You're talking at them instead of talking to them.
Yes, gain self-control, and it starts with the parent.
Yeah, train up a child. You training up a child in the way they should go with hollering and screaming? The Bible tells us to train up a child in a way that they should go. Now, that also goes with the yelling. That also goes with a whole lot of stuff. But since we're on the subject of yelling, don't train your child up to yell at everything. Yelling at everything. Just yelling. Yelling at his sisters. Yelling at their brothers. Everything is just yell all around the house. Everybody yelling. And you're training that child up. And that child could grow up just like that, just always yelling.
Yeah, communication goes a long way, and that's the key. Communication, it's a two-way street. But when that parent is yelling, they're not giving that child a chance to say anything.
Yeah.
And God forbid they say something, because that parent is angry, and so if they say something, the parent is going to look at it like you're being disrespectful. So then that's going to take it to another level. So some ways that we could stop yelling at our kids. First, we need to examine ourselves, y'all.
Yeah.
And then we need to know our triggers, because like I said, there's something deeply rooted inside that's triggering this anger. So we need to know our triggers.
I agree with this brother person right here. Says sometimes people want to train their child up and yell at them so that they can toughen them up for the real world. They toughen them up for the real world. Now I can see that, but I think everybody holler at their kids at some point.
It's a difference in a controlled yell.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Versus that anger.
Right.
Because everybody raises their voice.
Yeah. Training them up to be able to handle the streets, people call it, or the real world, by yelling at them. I don't know. That's a tough one.
So we got to know our triggers, y'all, and give your kid a warning. Don't go from 0 to 100. Give your kids a warning. You're so angry, you want to take it out on your kid.
Yeah.
I'm telling you tonight, give your kid a warning. Okay?
As Big C said, that, you know, sometimes people, if you yell at your children all the time, sometimes children on the streets will listen to them more than, and will listen to them more, and the streets win. You don't want the streets winning. You want to win. You don't want somebody out there that's trying to lure them into selling drugs, lure them into something, showing love to them and all that kind of stuff, because you're not showing love. Don't mess your child up. You ready to say something?
I was just going to say, sometimes the parent, we want to put the kids on a timeout. Sometimes we need to take a time out.
Yeah.
We need to take a time out, okay?
I think that's good, that time out. Yeah, take a time out.
Then, like Larry put, when the yelling parent get mad at the non-yelling parent in front of the kids because the non-yelling parent is not yelling. That's crazy. So what we need to know, y'all, we need to know what normal behavior is, because a lot of us been brought up, most of us, we've been brought up in dysfunctional families that what we think is functional is really dysfunctional. So we need to know what what's considered normal behavior.
Yeah, yeah.
And when somebody bring it to our attention, don't get mad. Do better. When you know better, do better. We all should want to be better. We should all want to do better. We want to be Christ-like. So when somebody come to us in love and let us know we off track, you might get your feelings hurt. You might get upset, but step back. Take a time out. Breathe. Listen to what they're saying and make the changes.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't brought up in a yelling house.
Well, I was, y'all.
What, yelling at animals and stuff?
No, my mama didn't play.
No, I mean, but you didn't go home and she yelling all day long.
She wasn't yelling all day long, but when we got it. We got the yelling because we didn't listen. What is something bad to yell at? What is something that we need to? It didn't have to be bad. Well, as kids, we didn't think it was bad, but the parent thought it was bad.
You know, didn't I tell you to take that trash out?
Why you yelling?
Well, that was a good example. See, didn't I tell you to take the trash out?
Well, they yelling because they done told you more than once.
If I would have said it soft and said, didn't I tell you to take the trash out? You know, you see how I just did that?
Yeah, but that's the second time or a third time because you saying, didn't I tell you? So that means you telling them again.
And some parents again and again and again.
And that's when them parents start yelling. Why didn't you listen the first time?
Well, does the yelling make it work better or something?
What do y'all think?
Yeah, what do y'all think? Do yelling, when you yell at your kids, do they get the work done? That will be the question. When you're yelling at your child, does it make a difference? Do they accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to get them to do? Or does it work better when you're talking to them? When you're talking to your kids, does it work better than yelling with your kids to get the results? For instance, like schoolwork. You didn't do your schoolwork. Next time you better do your school. You know how parents do. You do your schoolwork and all that kind of stuff. Versus sitting down, talking to them to find out why they're not doing their schoolwork.
That's true, Crumb Bears. To be honest, I don't know what I know. Yelling feels like it makes you get the point across, even though it's not a good idea. Yep. Yeah, I guess parents do feel like I'm getting my point across when I'm yelling, but as one reader put on there earlier, when you're yelling, the kid, you done lost the kid. They looking at you, they looking at your facial expressions, they on the inside wondering why you so angry, what is wrong with you, so they lose the message in the yelling.
Yeah, this is a good subject. This is a difficult subject, y'all, because there's so many variations with it, and so many different cultures. So many different children being brought up in different cultures. It's difficult because I see things one way, she sees stuff one way, and then you all see stuff another way. But I don't think yelling is good in any way.
Just like Larry said, when you're yelling, you might accomplish what you yelling. You might accomplish what you want the kid to do by yelling at them, but you're going to accomplish it with animosity.
Yeah, and
those kids are going to have animosity against you.
And you're going to make them start hating you.
That's that animosity.
Yeah. You never want your kid. I'm glad. I don't believe none of my kids ever. I probably when I gave them a whooping or something.
They didn't like us.
They didn't like us or something. But I don't think none of our kids ever hated us. I don't think we showed any difference. I think we yelled at all of them the same.
They might not think so. Leave it to kids to tell. But they know we love them. Mwah, to all my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what recourse do children have when parents yell at them? This is for the kid. We've been talking to the parents. So we pray that your parents got some good points tonight. And when you get ready to yell in an ungodly manner, you sit back, take a time out, deep breath, figure out where that anger is coming from, and then talk to your child. Ask your child, tell your child, whatever the situation is. But all that unnecessary yelling, that's not good. Now,
look, I was going to say one more thing before you do that. I used to hate with my mother, rather than yelling at me, she would ask me to come in the room, in her bedroom, and I had to sit down there and listen to her talk, and she would say something like, Mama just wanted to know how come you didn't do what I asked you to do. Mama love you, Mama worked hard, and Mama tried to do the best that she could, and I just simply asked you if you would wash the dishes, or if you would clean up the yard, or sweep out the garage, and you just didn't do it. I just want to know how, that make Mama feel so bad. That would get to me right there. That next time she come in there, everything gonna be done, because I didn't like the way it was making her feel. But yelling back at me, I don't think I would have responded like that. So sitting them down on the bed or wherever you at and really talking to them and letting them know the reason why, you try to train them up in a way that they should go, and stop them from getting hurt, and show them how to do stuff without yelling at them. What was you gonna say again?
I was just getting ready to close.
Uh-huh.
And in closing, y'all, we need to help the child. I'm sure some of this that we've been saying about the parent and to the parent is helping the child. But what recourse do children have when parents keep yelling at them? How does a child survive a difficult parent? Y'all help me. Start typing, because this young man needs some help.
He needs some help right now. He looking for your guidance right now.
What recourse does he have when his parents keep on yelling at him? It demotivates. Yes, it does.
Yeah, demotivates. It make you don't want to do nothing.
So how can this child survive a difficult parent? Help us, Crumbass. Help us, Larry, and the rest of y'all up there.
Yeah. It's tough, because we so used to yelling at them. People are so used to yelling at them.
So put yourself in that child's shoe right now. If that person is yelling at you, what would you do right now if that parent is yelling at you? How do you survive that difficult parent that's yelling at you?
It depends on if it's a violent parent, because a violent parent be yelling at you and they get ready to hit you. Or
We're not talking about hitting right now. We're talking about yelling. It could escalate to that.
You asked me what would I do though. I'm
took
reading.
it to violence.
No, I'm saying that when
we're not on violence right now.
When my parents, when my father would yell at me, I'm thinking more like, okay, I'm getting ready to get a hit with a belt or something.
just right then yelling.
Yeah, because I've been getting all kind of.
I thought it would kind of escalate.
I got more whoopings than everybody.
You was bad.
Not by him, but I was bad. But I'm just saying, when he yelling, to me, after yelling comes a hit.
Well, I guess it could in some houses.
In our house, it was yelling comes a hit.
So
not in our house, me and your kids, but in my house, my mother's house, my father was just different. He was a lovely person. He loved all of us, I think. I think I wasn't have brought up with him long like my other sisters and stuff, but they got some stories to tell. Mm-hmm. Sister Christine, you got some stories to tell. Sister Carolyn, you got some stories to tell if you're on there. They know more about him. I hear more about him. My mother would whoop us and talk to us. I didn't want to talk. I rather take the whooping.
It said, Crumbass said, I go see what's making them go off, see if they're all right before or after work. Mm-hmm. It might be an issue. Make sure everything is good before they come home. Not living in fear, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because some parents, they come home just picking out things. You clean up the whole house, and you might have left a cup on the counter, and it just trigger them. It's like, what is wrong with you? I cleaned this whole house, and you mad because I left a cup on the counter.
Snapping.
So when that parent is in your face, y'all, kids, young teenagers, young folks, everybody, because folks yell at us. We just got to take a deep breath and stay calm. Don't provoke them. Take a deep breath when it's going on and try to stay calm.
I think that, and then I know we got to sign off. I think that if you were a child and your parents is always hollering and screaming at you, I think you should wait around. Just wait around. Maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. Wait around till that parent is calm. Wait until you find them calm, or just just really calm, and then you walk up to them and say, "Mama or Dad or brother or sister, whoever it is hollering at you." Wait until they're calm, and then ask them, why do they always holler at you?
No, you don't want to ask them that, because then they're gonna start hollering again.
What do you mean?
You got to use your words.
Well, asking them why
strategically.
What do you when you say strategically?
Because when you talk about why you always hollering at me,
it's just pointing cut to the blame.
I would just probably tell them my feelings, how I feel when they yell at me, not ask them why they always hollering at me.
Well, I want to know why, though. I want to know, why are you hollering at me all the time? Why you just can't talk to me? Why are you yelling and screaming at me?
You finna get yelled and screamed at again with that.
No, I want to know, why are you feeling it? And they can say, because you didn't take out the trash, because you didn't do this, or because you did. I want to know. But my whole point is, I'm letting them know that you hollering and screaming at me a lot.
Yeah, and you can let them know by saying, it really hurts my feelings when you yell and scream at me all the time.
And make them feel, bring them.
And then they'll say, well, I'm doing that because,
Yeah, that's what my mother did to me. You can do it. That's what she called
But everybody is different the way they handle it.
Reverse psychology. So, reverse psychology, that's what my mother did to me, set me on the bed and talked to me, made me cry. So I think if a child did their parents like that, like my wife said, is that just tell them how, when they're yelling and screaming at them, how it makes them feel.
So again, everybody on here been typing some good, some nice comments as to how this kid can deal with this difficult parent. Most of the yelling has to do with how you're raised, though. Yeah, that is that generational curse continues.
Generational curse, yeah.
So take a deep breath. Listen, keep your cool. Like some of y'all said, don't say anything too soon. At least.
No.
Because if you speak too soon, like Pastor said, you might be looking for your teeth.
Yeah.
Because if you speak too soon, then your parents is going to likely think you talking back, or back talking, or being rude to them.
Yeah. And you know what? As Big C said, if you're going to love yourself, how can you love... I mean, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone. So therefore, when you're yelling at them and they're saying that they don't feel love, you're not even recognizing that because you don't love yourself.
And that's what we said earlier. It starts with self. You have to examine yourself. Why is that anger built up inside of you?
And know that it's causing your child to have a disposition about themselves when they get older.
Yeah.
Or even when they're younger.
Don't retaliate, y'all. And then sometimes when it's happening, you have to separate yourself in your mind.
Yeah.
You can't take it personally, because a lot of times parents, they're dealing with their own problems, with stress, with just life in general.
Yeah, stressed out.
So it's not your fault. You got to remember that. And just separate yourself in your mind. Think that you're at the beach or one of your favorite spots, on the playground or whatever it is. Put your mind somewhere else, because they're just venting their frustrations out on you. A lot of times it's not even your fault, okay? Then don't forget to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself,
yeah.
And then it comes a time where you do respond.
Yeah.
You do respond.
The Bible, Jesus says this. He says you can get angry, but sin not. Don't get so angry that you're... or don't let the sun go down on your wrath, and all these different scriptures and stuff. But he says, but as far as getting angry, you got to be careful with that, because anger.
The Bible said, "Rest in the bosom
of a fool." Right? Anger rests. It rests. And you're always angry. A fool is always angry. And basically, what it's saying, you take it to what it really says. A fool is always angry, and then in your anger, you're lashing out at your kids and lashing out at everybody. So, okay, y'all, we started this today
We didn't finish.
Go ahead. Oh, you go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Okay, remember I said it comes a time when you are to respond, but keep your responses simple, kids. Be polite and keep your tone down, because we got some kids that'll try you.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
But that's just going to provoke your parents, so keep your tone down, all right?
Yeah.
And then you got to accept your parents the way they're feeling, accept their feelings, okay?
Yeah.
And then if it comes to the point where you can't talk to your parents, then you talk to somebody that you can trust. Talk to somebody you can trust. Sometimes it's a teacher, a pastor, your best friend. They even have hotlines that you can call if you feel like you're being abused, because some of the stuff can be abuse. It could be verbal. That could escalate into physical.
Yeah.
I'm not no professional therapist, but they do have hotlines for that if you need that kind of help. So we pray that you have a teacher or somebody trustworthy that you can go to for help.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully you were helped with this broadcast. We got a little late start. It was in and out for a minute. We just changed our location anyway. Hopefully everything went good today. Keep on praying for us, you all. God is good. Keep on praying for the society. Keep on praying for these coronavirus, and we're praying that people are being safe and social distancing and wearing masks and all that stuff like that.
Those that are hospitalized, pray for them and their families.
Yeah, and we have some of our personal church members we're praying for their health, hearing about some of them with the virus, and then hearing about other people. It's kind of going around, so we need to continue being in prayer for everyone in the world. But speaking for Rise and Star right now, we love you all. We're praying for you.
Facebook and subscribe.
Yeah, go
hit the thumbs
YouTube.
up.
Yeah, listen. Make sure you all go to our YouTube and subscribe. Go to our YouTube and subscribe. I need you to go to our YouTube and subscribe.
And hit the thumbs up.
And hit the thumbs up. Subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. All right. Okay, you all. Anything else you wanted to share?
We know a little
bit about a whole lot. She wanted to get
I just wanted to beat him to it, but I'll let him say it.
Well, no, that was good. And in all thy getting,
get an understanding.
Thank you all for watching. You ask, we answer with you guys, it seems like.
And it looks like we have a question on here. So, again, if you have questions.
Yeah. Listen, if y'all have a question that you all want us to discuss, to talk about, we need you to inbox us on any of our 5 platforms. You can inbox us on YouTube, both of our Facebooks, Periscope, and Twitch. I believe you can do it on Twitch. All right? Inbox us a question. We don't care what the subject is. We don't care what the subject is. We'll let you know what this next week's subject is soon. All right? So inbox us a question. But make sure you all go to our YouTube and subscribe. We need you to do that. All right? God bless you. Love everybody. Be safe. Wash your hands. Stay out the flies. Wear your mask.
And love one another.
And love one another. And stop all that yelling. All right. Y'all be blessed. Bye-bye. Tutu. And don't yell.